Welcome back to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison. Monday night, we saw at number 2 Arizona, the Wildcats moving up in the recent AP poll from number 4 to number 2 following the win over the Yukon Huskies on the road as Arizona beat then number 3 Yukon 71-67. And very impressive road win. And you look at Arizona's schedule, look at their resume. So far this season, nobody has a better resume or schedule than Arizona through 5 games at that point. Now 6 games with wins over number 3 Florida, number 15 UCLA, and number 3 Yukon. Very impressive. You have 2 top 5 wins. You have a top 15 win in UCLA where the Bruins were up by 10 in that game and you came battling back. From top to bottom, there is no question the Wildcats have the best resume in college basketball. That's why they moved up to number 11 in the AP poll. Number 2 in the AP poll, with 11, there's that number, 11 first place votes. Now, they did not have the highest second place votes finishes. That was Houston with the highest second place vote finishes. Still, the 11 first place votes was enough to get Arizona over the hump over Houston. And right now it goes Purdue, Houston, and those are Purdue, Arizona, Houston, and those are and Duke and North Carolina. Those are your top 5 teams right now in the country, and it makes sense to me. I think I probably would have kept Purdue number 2. I think Purdue has been one of the better teams in the country. I know they've struggled at times, but you're talking about a team that's coming off of a national championship, ton of returners from last year's team, top 5 recruiting class. You're going to have your ups and downs. I would probably keep them at number 2. I think they're the best team in the country. I'm not sold on Purdue. I know they just clobbered Texas Tech, who I voted number 2 in the Big 12 poll, but I just don't believe fully in the Purdue Boilermakers. So Arizona faced off against Denver at home Monday night, late tip-off. And, late tip-offs in Tucson are very interesting because sometimes you'll get a good crowd. Sometimes you won't. It's a Monday night. I was expecting somewhere between 9,000 to 11,000. There's about 12,000 in the stands. I thought it was a very good crowd. And you know what? These are some of those games where it's hard to get up for. It shouldn't be, and I know that's very easy to say. Every game is important, but let's be honest. Let's be real. Let's live in reality here. You have 7 freshmen on Arizona's roster, 3 of which are starters, 4 of which are key contributors. Yes, you have your veterans, Jaden Bradley, Anthony Del Rosso, Toby Awaka, that are key contributors. And Krivas being a second-year player. He's been in the system. But when you're facing off against all these top-level teams, sprinkle in some poor lower-level group of 5 teams or not mid-major teams, whatever you want to call them, it's hard to get up for those games. It's not easy. It's a tough situation, especially for freshmen. But when you're looking one game at a time, it helps. Tommy Lloyd talked about it, how every game is its own season, and how you got to get prepared for it every day in and day out, and that's how they go about it. I believe the coaching staff, that is how they go about it. But how do you get the freshmen to buy into that? When, we're playing Denver, then you're going to play Norfolk State, and then you're going to play Alabama. How do you not focus on the Alabama part? Especially coming off of wins, back-to-back wins over UCLA and Yukon. It's hard. But Arizona was able to easily win the game, start to finish, boat race them from beginning to end, beating the Pioneers 103-73. And I think that's a testament to Arizona's leadership with Jaden Bradley, their leadership in the coach on the coaching staff, and getting these freshmen focused. And you look at it, if you're worried about any kind of lull going up against the Denver team after playing UConn, The freshmen combined for 72 points. 72 points. I'll repeat that. That might be an Arizona record. It might be a national record. We're having Arizona look into that right now. And yeah, they were led by their freshmen. They were phenomenal. You look at it, the two leading scorers, Yvonne had 20 and went 9 for 12 from the field, hit a couple threes, played really good defense. Tremendous game from Yvonne. Braden Burries had poor games against UCLA and UConn, where he got into early foul trouble. He drops 20, going 7 of 13 with 7 rebounds and like 3 assists. So very good game for him. That's the bounce back game that you wanted to see from Yvonne. Meanwhile, you have Aristode dropping 17 points. Dwayne Aristode, phenomenal game for him. Cole Pete, 12 points, only played 22 minutes, 3 rebounds. Again, the rebounding thing, I think, is the one thing with Cole Pete that needs to improve. You saw tremendous rebounding against UConn, solid rebounding against UCLA, but it's been kind of inconsistent on the glass. I'd like to see Goa have bigger rebounding numbers because he has the ability to be a high-level rebounder. Just the ability to stay bouncing. And what I mean by that is he's always fighting on the glass, always fighting for the extra jump. So he should have more rebounds. But a tremendous game. You saw guys like C.D. Gay get into the game. So this is what you wanted to see from Arizona with its freshmen. How do they respond to a low-level game? They responded with flying colors. And then, Jaden Bradley did his thing. 9 points, sure. Not a lot of points, but 3 assists, no turnovers. There wasn't a lot of minutes for the starters in this game. This is one of those games, get them in and out. This is kind of a rest game for Arizona. Get some guys some rest. Get Jaden Bradley some rest. Get, Toby Awaka some rest. Get Anthony Del Rosso some rest. Some of the veterans on the roster. So a highly important game for Arizona. They shot 57% from the field. They're lights out. That's even with the bench coming in and kind of mucking up those numbers a little bit. They dominated the paint, dominated the glass, as expected, as they should. They didn't cover. They came close to the cover, but just a tremendous game. Now you have your Thanksgiving break. Arizona will be back on Saturday to take on Norfolk State, and that's another one of those games. How do you get up? How do you get ready for that game? It's going to be highly important for Arizona. So far, they haven't hit a lull for a whole game. Again, they've had halves where they hit lulls against these lower-level teams. So credit Tommy, credit the coaching staff, and credit the veterans on this roster. I think this is an Arizona team. By the start of Big 12 play, you could be looking at it number 1 in the country. Again, I believe in this team. I think they're well-rounded. I think they're well put together. They have the right mix of veteran leadership and youth and athleticism. Tommy Lloyd is a tremendous coach. This is a team that can win a national championship. I think this is his best team Tommy Lloyd's had in all his years coaching at Arizona. Again, I know this is year number 5, but I think this is his best team out of the previous 4. So we'll have more coverage of Arizona basketball throughout the week. Arizona football is getting ready to take on that school up north, Arizona State, in the Territorial Cup on Friday. We'll have more coverage on the duel in the desert and all that has to bring for it. But until then, we will see you next time on Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. Check out our website, Arizona Wildcats on SI. Follow me, Troy Hutchison, at THutch1995, and we'll see you next time.